teams that haven't won all season. How is that good enough to win a trophy?
Yes, we also beat Villa. We also went to Old Trafford and won 3-0. Like, we lost these games.
Those results are irrelevant.
So the wins are relevant, but only the losses are relevant.
No, the losses outweigh the wins.
Why?
Because we're losing to teams that haven't won all season.
But
when
also
it comes down to it in the nitty-gritty,
also
we're not
beating teams that have been away from home all season. Well,
but you know, also another reality is you see this so often with Spurs and managers over the past, since Pochettino, right? Where good start, think we're onto a good thing, and then these performances start to creep in. And then you start hearing out of the press saying, oh, the manager's doing this, oh, the manager's doing that, and the players start complaining. And then you see, you know, a real string of poor results. I'm worried that's gonna come in early December over the next period after this international break. And if that does happen, then Ange is going to lose his job.
But also on the same token, you wouldn't be surprised if we go to City and win. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
I wouldn't be surprised if we go to City and win. But then if we go to City and win, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and lose the next game.
Yeah, exactly. This is
Spurs. This is Spurs right now, where we absolutely battered Aston Villa, who hadn't lost away from home all season. We beat Man City, albeit a weakened Man City side in the Cup. We cannot keep doing this. Every 1 week, Ange is the Messiah. 1 week, Ange out. 1 week, Ange is the Messiah. 1 week, Ange out. We need a bit of stability here. And it's just driving me insane. It's just so up and down and up and down and up and down. I mean, I don't even know where to turn. Like, seriously, it's doing my head in.
Life as a Spurs fan. That's what it is. And, you know, I look, as much as it's really terrible, it was a terrible day yesterday. For Tottenham, and for all the times I felt maybe we'd learn our lessons from the Palace game and the Brighton game, where I thought against City and Villa we really showed that fight to win those games, and we really dug deep and we were super aggressive. And then in this game it wasn't that, and we were off it again, and we were flat-footed again. And again, were we arrogant? Did we just think we were going to turn up and win and not have to fight for the right to win that game? And if we keep turning up in these games every other game thinking like that, then at the end of the day, the manager is going to be responsible because he can't change that situation. So if it keeps happening, then Ange will be responsible, and he will be under serious pressure. But as well, I don't want to hear any fan who said, I don't care about the league this season, it's only about the cups, going for Ange's head. I don't want to hear any fan say that, because we're doing well in the cups. And yes, we're not doing great in the league, but if your priority is the cup, then you should be delighted with how things are going.
Well, what if we go out to Man U in a few weeks' time?
Well, then it's a different situation. But at the moment, we're in the quarterfinal. We've won 3 out of 4 games in Europa. So if you're only looking at the cups this season, you've got no reason to be angry.
I think it's a silly way of looking at things. I only care about the cups and not the league. I mean, the league is your bread and butter, isn't it? And you need to be showing progression in the league. And earlier on in the season, when we were dropping those points at like Newcastle, Leicester, you know, you could see something to cling on to in those games. You could see we deserved more out of those games. But now these performances away from home are starting to creep, even at home now, at Ipswich and at Crystal Palace, the second half against Brighton. In those like 180 and the 45 against Brighton, there's nothing at all to cling on to. Absolutely nothing. And it seems as though performances in the poor games are really regressing, like fast.
And that's the worry, that things don't seem to be getting better. And that's a concern. And also, every time we win, we have to come back. You know, West Ham, Villa, our last few wins, we have had to come back. All our wins, really, apart from Man United and Everton, we've had to come back and win all the other games to win. And is that a sustainable thing? And clearly it's not, because yesterday it wasn't sustainable, because we conceded that second goal, and that was too much of a mountain to climb for us. Even against a team like Ipswich, it was too much of a mountain to climb. So there's Ange has issues at the moment. As much as I really like the way we play football, and I think when we're in full flight, we're beautiful to watch. And I also think, you know, when the team is functioning, we're not conceding too many chances, and we do create more chances and all this kind of thing, and the underlying data looks good. The end of the bare facts of the matter is, he is every time we win, we're having to come back, and we're too inconsistent with our results. And Ange has to sort that out. Absolutely has to sort that out. But on the positive side, there is a good opportunity to sort out because the league is so tight. So we're not too far away. It's not like we're way off it. We're only 3 points off third, which means that the league is extremely tight. So if we do start to sort these things out, then we can climb the table very, very quickly. But do you have confidence that he will sort it out? That's the question.
Yeah, but you look at it. I mean, we have seen similar things, maybe not exactly the same style of play. I mean, quite polar opposites displays. But, you know, Conte comes in halfway through a season and gets us to finish fourth when we had no right to finish fourth that season. You know, we were playing actually really good football. We were scoring loads of goals. Everyone was really happy and excited for the next season. Fast forward to when Conte gets sacked, we're still in touching distance of the top four. You know, the underlying data wasn't that great that season, but in terms of getting points on the board, it's not like we were far away from fourth. And then he gets sacked, and then we finished nowhere near it. We finished in 8 points. So I mean, these kind of things happen under every single manager since Pochettino. So I think you've got to look further up.
I mean, what are you suggesting, that this is similar to the end of Conte?
Well, I am seeing similarities in terms of, you know, in certain games that the players are just not playing. The players don't look up for it. And no matter who the manager is, you see these kind of performances. No matter who the players are, you see these kind of performances. And I think it's a culture within the club. Because it's how many different players are we going to see put in these abject performances in games that we should be winning? How many times? We see it manager after manager, squad after squad. How many times? It happens year after year. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, and I've had my issues with the board 100%, and I've criticised the board heavily for sure, and especially how they dealt with the regimes under Conte and Mourinho. I personally don't have much to complain about with what they've done for Ange. I think they've gone in a different direction since they brought in Lang a year ago, or 18 months, or whenever they brought him in. They've spent money which they needed to spend on this squad. I'm looking at this squad, and I don't think you can tell me this squad is not good enough to be Ipswich. Of course it is. And I just don't see, at the moment, of course, when you look at a pattern, 20 years, all this kind of stuff, I've got no love.
Just see post Pochettino till now.
I've got no love for this board. I've got no love for this board. All I'm saying is, since Ange has come in, I don't think anyone could have come in and done something different. Well, I mean, maybe you could spend a bit more money here and there, but look at this team. There's 50 million players all around the 11, all around the squad. 50 million players all around the team. So unless you're suggesting there should be 100 million pound players, I don't know what more we want from the board at the moment in this for what we're doing.
All we're doing is bringing in players to decrease the wage structure in the club. That's all we're doing right now. And you're talking about. You're happy with the players coming in, and I was happy for the most part, but still there is a lack of quality in the team. Yes, the team was good enough to beat Ipswich. Yes, the team was good enough to beat Crystal Palace, but maybe it's not about the players coming in. Maybe it's about the mentality within the club, the culture within the club. Maybe football is not the first and foremost thing at this football club. And I think it shows year in, year out under different managers, different tenures. When Conte left the club, you know, the last game was a 3-0 loss against Southampton, right? You're telling me that team wasn't good enough to beat Southampton? I mean, we see this time and time again. It doesn't matter who the manager is. It doesn't matter who the players are. Until there's a big change from the top where we start to go for top caliber players and change the mentality and put football first in this club, this is going to keep happening time and time again. It's like Groundhog Day every single year, and that's what it's like.
I just think it's too easy to point in that direction, in my opinion.
But when the same thing keeps happening, what other direction can you point in?
Yeah, but they've changed the way they've operated. They've changed the way we have to admit, they've changed the way they've operated in the past 18 months. That's the reality. They've spending a lot more money. Whether you think that money's spent in the right direction that's a different case. But the big problem before is lack of investment, all these different things. And I'm looking at the team. Everywhere you look, throughout the whole team, there's expensive players there. Like, I don't think the amount of money we're spending is a problem. You talk about, we want to lower the wage bill. But you look at other teams, how they're absolutely stuck with players on massive wages who haven't worked out, and it completely holds you back. completely holds you back. And I understand not wanting to completely go in that direction. Obviously, it would be great if we can get another Rice, we can get a Rice in, or I don't know who else is big money, a Haaland in or something like that, who's justify the big wages. But for every Rice and Haaland, there's an Anthony, there's a Sancho, there's a Casemiro, all these players who just chain to your club because you can't get rid of them. Look, we've already had that with Ndombele, how that screwed us big time, having someone like Ndombele on big wages who didn't work out. So we're going in a bit of a different direction. But I look at the players we have in the team. We have very good. I'm sorry, we've got good players. I'm not saying we've got players that maybe can compete with City and Liverpool right now, but we've got a very good squad. We do, and like I don't think like there's much. That look, maybe as a culture thing, I don't know. I'm not within the four walls of the club. I don't know what the culture's like within the club. I don't think Levy's coming to the dressing room saying before the game, you know what, it doesn't really matter what happens today. Don't worry, boys, it's all good. Like the football culture, that's down to the manager. That's not down to at the board level what happens in all the four walls of the dressing room, or on the training ground.
It all stems from the top, Sim. It all stems from the top. We've seen it under various different managers. Conte, when he left the club and everything that he was saying was spot on. He was absolutely spot on, and we commended him at the time for saying these kind of things.
And they made big changes since then.
They haven't made big changes because they signed Richarlison for 65 million under Conte. We were spending money under Conte. And now we're still carrying on to spend the similar amount of money. Yeah, fine, we've spent more money on a whole under thing, but we're actually spending less on wages. We're spending a lot less on wages.
It wasn't just money, it was recruitment. It was how they were going about different things.
Paratici was there under Conte. Paratici has been lauded for bringing in all these players and how much of a good job
he's
done.
But we have completely changed the recruitment since Conte's gone. We've gotten a sporting director. There's a bit more separation between Levy and the footballing side. We've been through this. We've been through that separation.
It's better in terms of, profiling the players for the positions that we're getting. I agree with that, and buying in positions that we need. But I still think, like, if we really want to go the way that Ange Postecoglou wants us to be, and challenging for titles and challenging for this and winning trophies and stuff, first of all, we need to start spending more on wages, because that's the reason that players didn't come to us in the summer, is because we weren't offering wages for the likes of Eberechi Eze and people like that. And second of all, we need someone that can deal with tactics a bit better, because Ange Postecoglou, I'm not saying I want Ange out, but he needs to take a look at himself, because the way he's changing games at the moment is nowhere near good enough. And we're cheaping out on players, not in terms of transfer fees, but in terms of wages. That's where we're cheaping out on the players. And you can see that the wage bill has been dramatically cut over the last 12 months or 24 months.
Which needed to happen.
Yeah, which needed to happen, but not this much, man. Not this much. We're bringing in 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds who are clearly not ready to come in and make a difference right here, right now in the Premier League. And it's the same old thing. We're looking to the future, but we're kind of neglecting the here and now.
Are we? I think we've got a good team.
To do what?
To do what we want to do, which is maybe win a trophy, Europa League.
Ange wants to win the league.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure.
And if you're saying that we've got good enough players to go and win a trophy, how are we going to win a trophy if we're losing to Ipswich at home and Palace away, teams that haven't won all season? How is that good enough to win a trophy?
Yes, we also beat Villa. We also went to Old Trafford and won 3-0. Like, we lost these games.
Those results are irrelevant.
So the wins are relevant, but only the losses are relevant.
No, the losses outweigh the wins.
Why?
Because we're losing to teams that haven't won all season.
But
when
also
it comes down to it in the nitty-gritty,
also
we're
beating teams that have been away from home all season. Well,
yeah, but the losses completely outweigh these wins, completely.
Well, it depends. You have to take it over a longer stretch. After 11 games, maybe you can say that. But
all right, let's take it over a longer stretch. We've lost 17 games and 17 wins since that Chelsea game at the start of last season.
Yeah, I understand that. And that it's not great. It's not great reading, but we don't draw a lot of games. So the fact that we get these wins keep us competitive. We do get a lot of wins, and we just need to make sure that when we lose, we're only losing by the odd goal, and we're not getting battered. And when we win, we're winning big. So that is an easier fix.